Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. Hi.
Hello. How about that ride in? Guess that's why they call it Sin City. Hello.
Okay.
Pickle, we are... okay. What's the number one thing we talk about on this show? By the way, this is the pre-show before the free show. If you want the football, wait for 5 minutes. We'll get to the football. We'll have a whole freaking hour of football.
Mm-hmm.
But 5 minutes of nonsense. You'll have to bear with us. Pickle, the number one thing we talk about around here is football, correct?
Yeah, or Thanksgiving, but yeah.
What would you say is the number two thing?
Thanksgiving.
Okay, what would you say is the number three thing?
Chili's.
Okay, I don't want to keep going.
Dateline.
Lucerne, Switzerland.
That's it. Yep, that one slipped my mind. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say religion.
I don't think that's it either. You do say Catholics back on top a lot.
If you go to Peter's Chapel in Lucerne, Switzerland right now.
Hey, Peter.
You will be greeted, and let's say you want to go in for confessional. Now, that confessional, I should say, it's a Catholic thing. We got to go and confess our sins to a priest. That's what happens. He absolves us of our sins. If you go to the confessional at Peter's Chapel in Lucerne, Switzerland, you will be greeted by AI Jesus.
Oh, my.
A holographic Jesus powered by AI that you can then confess your sins to, share, and the church has encouraged visitors to share their thoughts and questions with AI Jesus, though it's clarified that it shouldn't be considered the sacrament of confession. Well, that is good. I'm glad we've got that out of the way. So, if you step into the confessional, apparently, AI Jesus will appear, and you can talk to him, and he is trained to have conversations with you.
Okay.
He is trained to give you advice based on the New Testament, right? My question for you, would you feel comfortable talking to our AI version of our Lord and Savior? Where do you stand on? Let's get your take on AI Jesus.
I mean, you know what that feels like? Do you
Feels bad?
Well, yes. Jesus is shaking his head. But you know what that feels like? Do you remember I think they used to be in like arcades and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe in a restaurant that had like a little gaming thing, but it was the like holographic fortune teller,
yes,
like games that you could stick your coins in, and I don't know if you rubbed the magic ball or what you did, but like it spit out that. That's exactly what that feels like.
It was.
We've gone from holographic psychics to AI Jesus.
It was built by the Lucerne University of Applied Sciences and Arts, using the New Testament as a basis for how Jesus thinks and speaks. It says, this is according to techradar.com. If you enter the confessional, you'll see the AI Jesus displayed on a screen. The decidedly Swiss-looking man from the Roman-run Middle East of 2 millennia ago listens to people voice their questions and concerns. The AI model underlying the simulation, blah, 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 will engage with you and offer spiritual advice based on what people say. I don't know. I'm just going to say this. I do not know your relationship. Your mileage may vary with the religious things.
Way to be PC.
Hello, it's me, professional word guy.
Religious things.
I'm just saying this. I don't know that this is the thing to get you in the door if you were skeptical.
It's like, no, honey, don't worry. I talked to AI Jesus. I'm good.
It's like, man, I have a hard time connecting with spirituality. Mm-hmm. I know.
AI Jesus.
A hologram of a guy from Galilee. That'd be great.
Incredible.
Anyway, shout out to the Swiss and shout out to AI Jesus. This week's Texas Football Today Listener of the Week. Hit the theme, Expo. Yes, y'all.
That was a big whiff.
We've been doing this show. How long have you and I been doing the show for? Like 5 years?
Yeah, too long.
5 years. The cues never moved. My name is from the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Studios.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Here in beautiful Louisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show that I swear has done this before. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the places, or you listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good, pressing the buttons exactly when they need to be pressed, exactly when you're supposed to press
I was
them.
laughing at a comment that was made.
She's the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
Yeah, they said let's go, but it said let's hoe. And I thought that was funny, so I missed my mic turning on, okay? I'm doing like 7 jobs in here. Give me a break.
Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024.
7 days.
1 week from the best day of the year. We have made it 51 weeks, people. We got 1 week, 7 days. Our next show on Monday, which will be on tape. We're taping it on Sunday because I got to get on the road. Our next show is our Thanksgiving Spectacular. We're here.
Let's go.
Happy birthday to 2 people I think equally deserving of praise. Happy birthday to Stan Musial, one of the all-time greatest baseball players, and also to Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh, you were big call me maybe person.
Was.
Still am.
A bop.
That's funny to me.
Dun, 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 dun.
Do you remember when the Harvard baseball team did like the dance in the van to that? That's when it kind of went viral.
I'm telling you. That's the song of the summer every summer. Anyway, it's episode 1820? 1819? 1820?
18. Well, that doesn't make sense.
This is going great, guys.
Well, I didn't set up for the show here, so I'm trying to get my...
No, we know.
It's 1818.
1880. Oh, some numbers are the same. On today's show, folks, it's a big show. I don't know if you know this, but the Texas High School Football Playoffs are here. The second round. We're going to roll out my top 10 Texas high school football games of the week this week. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of a guy who's got a big game tonight, like hours from now. Head coach of the undefeated Alvarado Indians. Coach Casey Walraven will join us here. We will talk about his Indians, talk about their big game tonight against Frisco Panther Creek. Are they nervous that Ashley Pickle is going to be watching them? We'll ask Casey Walraven coming up here. Then we got the picks, my high school football predictions for all 176 UIL Texas high school football playoff games this weekend. After which, we will talk with... After that, we are going to talk with Craig White, the Texas High School Hall of Famer. He joins us every Thursday here on Texas Football Today. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Sound good to you?
Sounds great.
Pot right?
Pot right.
Do we have first word through the door?
We sure do.
Who said let's hoe?
Brian Kennedy, I believe is how you say it.
Okay, I don't know if he was the top first 4, but he's an honorary member. You can name 4 more.
Yeah, that's
if you
fair.
Need to.
It was Big Jiggly Water Balloons, jersey number 69, Colorado Tex, and Joey Hill. But Let's Ho was up there.
That reminds me of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! Anyway. Pickle! The Texas high school football playoffs hit full steam tonight in the area round. The second round of the Texas high school football playoffs, only 352 Texas high school football teams in the UIL remain. And there are 176 games scattered hither, scattered yon, across the state of Texas, starting tonight. But of those 176 games, I decided to be an idiot. Like weeks ago when we started conceiving of what our Thursday shows were going to look like. And I was like, what if I picked the top 10 games of the week? Not knowing how tough this would be.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs.
Let's roll out my top 10 Texas high school football games of the week, starting with number 10, Wascom and Garrison. Wascom and Garrison is the 10th best game on this list. It's going down tomorrow night at Bulldog Stadium in Carthage. This is a 2A Division I Region 3 matchup. And I'm fascinated by it because we're going to have a new state champion in 2A D1 because Timpson went down to Hearn last week. And furthermore, we are going to have a new Region 3 champion because Timpson has won the region each of the last 2 years. Garrison finally got over the hump against Garrison in they have a great rivalry name for it. There's like a river that goes between those two teams. I apologize. I can't pull it up in my brain right now. But
I am unfamiliar with the river rivalry.
Garrison finally got a win over Timpson this year, and now they feel like they can take on the world. They will have to get by a Wascom team that I'm really high on. I like this Wascom team a lot. And I think that the playmakers they've got, like Nate Espy, they have got dudes all over the field. And they are fast. They are physical. They play with an edge. Can Garrison continue their running game, get that up to speed? That is a huge game that I think the winner of this game, golly, it's a sneaky region because like Honeygrove and Beckville loom in this region as well. But I would say for now, the winner of this game, I don't know. They're going to play Honeygrove next week, and then that's going to be a huge game. So like this is the first of what would be a 3-week gauntlet for both these teams if they were to get through it. Wascom and Garrison, my number 10 game of the week. Number 9. Sunray and Hawley.
The fact that this is number 9 speaks to the depth of this week. That's insane.
So let me tell you something.
Dude, go ahead. Here with a statement is Greg Tepper.
We're going to do our Visit Lubbock games of the week coming up here later in the program. Bro, if you're in Lubbock and you're just not like overdosing on high school football this weekend, what are you even doing? It is a ludicrous week in Lubbock. And this one is one of the ones that takes center stage. Going on tomorrow night, Friday night, 8 o'clock. It's the nightcap at Patriot Stadium in Lubbock. For my money, this is one of the... depends on what you think of a game like Westwood and Columbus. It depends on what you think of a game like another game that's going to be on this list. But this might be the quarterback matchup of the week. You've got Keegan Abels for Hawley against Armando Luan for Sunray. Armando Luan can become, with a big game, I think he needs about 400 yards, he can become the state's all-time leader in career passing yards. Hawley is no joke, and they have got that dude at quarterback too. I am absolutely fascinated. This is the first of 2 huge games in 2A Division I Region 1. Who knows if we see the other one here? But a massive, massive game. And the winner of this game... they're probably going to deal with the winner of the other game. So, I can't even make these broad declarations. This is good enough to be a state semifinal. This is a top 10 matchup in 281. It is a colossal clash, Sunray and Hawley. Number 8, Poth and East Bernard. Now, here I can make a broad statement about this.
Okay.
These are, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in Region 4. I think the winner of this game is winning 3A Division II Region 4.
We were completely split on this in regional picks from the staff, so yes.
This game's going down tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Memorial Stadium in Victoria. And what Poth has been able to do, quietly 11-0, smashing people, number 2 in the state, they've been terrific. And this is not a patch on them. I'm interested to see what happens when they go up against an offense that can give them a push like East Bernard can. I love this offense. I love what Coach Jeremy Jenkins has kind of done there to turn this program from a slot T into like a spread problem. And they've got athletes out there. Poth and East Bernard, I think the winner of this game is playing in a state semifinal. And we're only here because Tidehaven upset East Bernard in Week 11. Those games matter, and this is the result. We get a second-round matchup between what I think are the 2 best teams in 3A Division II Region 4.
Before we go to number 7, can I do a quick interjection here?
Here with a quick interjection, Ashley Pickle.
I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but courtesy of our friend Ace, going back to the Wascom and Garrison matchup, Battle of the Adiac,
Adiac.
Adiac, Atttoyac.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly it.
Shout out Ace.
That's exactly right. Big matchup. Number 7, South Oak Cliff and Huntsville. I'm sounding the alarm. Okay?
Are you going to do it?
I'm not going to do it.
Are you taking Huntsville?
I'm not taking Huntsville.
Weak.
But I am putting this on upset watch. Okay?
Huntsville's not a bad team, and they went through a grueling district.
Huntsville's battle tested. Huntsville is playing exceptional football right now. Huntsville's defense is legit. And South Oak Cliff has not played a team in their weight class in 2 months. Okay? This is a Saturday affair in Waco. And look, Jason Todd's going to have his boys focused. I am here to tell you that Huntsville is not to be trifled with. I am here to tell you that this is a good Huntsville team. And if South Oak Cliff plays a B- game, they're going to lose. Okay? Plain and simple. This is a good enough team to beat South Oak Cliff. They have got to be on their toes because this is a good Huntsville team. South Oak Cliff and Huntsville, my number 7 game. Number 6, Wink and Stratford. So, back to 2A Division 2, and back to Lubbock. Friday night, Lowry Field. I told you, it's a ludicrous week in Lubbock. The winner of this game, I think, is probably playing Stratford for the regional final, and I might be tempted to take the winner of this game to win the region in Region 1. For Wink, they have reloaded on the fly. We thought when Cannon Gibson graduated, Wink going to fall back to the pack. Not so. They have been unbelievable. Kamid Fasciani, their running back, has stepped up in a big way. They've got a quarterback who stepped up in a big way as well. This team is ready. They are back. They are at least a year early, and this sophomore quarterback, Lane Lesby, has stepped up in a huge, huge way. Stratford was our preseason number 1 team in the state. And I want to be clear, I don't think Stratford has a bad loss on their resume, but I also think that this is the kind of thing that because when realignment came out, we thought, pay attention to this, pay attention to these second-round matchups. Their losses this year are to Panhandle. Might talk about them in a moment. Sunray, already talked about them. And Groover, a team I might see in the regional final. This team doesn't have a bad loss. They've got that dude in Bryce Braden. Can they survive a huge, huge test in the area round? This is a massive matchup. And I think, again, big statewide implications because the winner of 2A Division 2 Region 1, I think, is going to be the favorite to, they played Munster in a semifinal. They can give them a run. Fascinating ball game here. Number 6, Wink and Stratford. To the top 5 we go. Number 5, College Station and Lufkin.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
That's right. College Station and Lufkin.
This game rocks.
This game's really fun. I'm excited you guys are going to get to talk about it on Friday night on Texas Football Tonight. It's going down Friday night at Randall Reed Stadium in New Caney. So College Station's been fantastic this year. They've got the 1 loss on the year. This is a College Station team with Aiden Martinez-Brown, with Corcoran, Cade Corcoran, their quarterback, been really, really good. They've reloaded on the fly. I think their defense is a little bit underrated. I love what they've done. If you are not paying attention to what Lufkin is doing, now is the time. So they have a Week 1 7-3 loss to Longview. A 6A 7-3 loss to Longview. Okay? And that is it. Okay? This Lufkin defense is nasty. They are nasty. And they have got playmakers, which is not a surprise for anyone who knows anything about Lufkin and that part of the world. They have got dudes all over the field. And this feels like the class that I think that Todd Quick has been waiting for out there at Lufkin. I am absolutely fascinated to see what comes out of this. I'm excited to see Kedron Young, their running back, I think that they've got playmakers all over the field. This is a fascinating, not Keaton Young, Zion Williams, their big defensive lineman, and I'm excited to see what they do offensively against what has been an excellent College Station defense. Fascinating ball game there, College Station and Lufkin. Number 4, Westlake and San Antonio Brennan. And it is the latest chapter of can San Antonio beat Austin?
And it won't be the last one.
It won't be the last one, but this is the first big one. And here's what's important to remember. This is a really good Brennan team. Really good. Mm-hmm. Okay? They have given up 86 points this season. 86 points this season. Okay? They played a 10-1 Harlan team and beat them 51-14. Okay? They have been drumming people. They have a win over Smithson Valley. I know it's a 6A or for a 5A, but still, their defense has been electric. Okay? They have given up 28 points since September.
That's crazy.
Okay? But what do they do against Westlake? And what do they do against not just Reese Wise and not just the playmakers they've got, but what do they do against Austin? Because this has been the bugaboo for San Antonio. We get to this point, and it's Austin versus San Antonio, and Austin just goes and smashes them under their thumb. Can Brennan's defense let them hang? The good thing is that I think their defense can allow them to keep it in it and win a low-scoring game, but it's hard to pick against Westlake, especially in Austin at Burger Stadium. Fascinating ball game, Westlake and Brennan. Number 3, Stanford and Panhandle.
Yep.
Tonight in Lubbock. I told you, it is a ludicrous week in Lubbock. The other 2A Division I Region 1 matchup. It's the number 1 team in the state, the Stanford Bulldogs, up against Panhandle. And I am here to tell you that Panhandle is good enough to beat them. Panhandle, you may remember, has the one loss on the year to Sunray. But other than that, been cruising. Been fantastic. And they are legit in every sense of the word. I love what they do on the defensive side. They're aggressive. And I think that they're going to be able to put Stanford in some binds. Furthermore, Broxton Robinson, their junior, that dude. They've got that dude. For Stanford, they have been untouchable. They've got the win over Hawley. That's a signature win. They have got playmakers everywhere you want to have playmakers. I think Christian Duran, their quarterback, has really stepped up in a big way, but to me, it's Caston Vega. It's a running back, and what a star he is for them. Can Panhandle make Stanford one-dimensional? Can Stanford contain Broxton Robinson? A ton of intrigue tonight in Lubbock. Number 2, Alvarado and Frisco Panther Creek. Also tonight.
Mm-hmm. I'll be there.
A lot of the Dave Campbell's crew is going to be there.
Yeah, at the Star
in Frisco. Points. Just points.
That's the name of the game.
We're going to talk to the head coach at Alvarado, Casey Walraven, coming up here in a moment. But this is another game that may lay claim to being the best quarterback matchup in the state this week. Mm-hmm. Graylin Fry for Frisco Panther Creek has been electric. He's got Jalen Lott on the outside. Going up against Cartier Collier at Alvarado, who is just box office.
His stats are stupid.
And you're talking about these two offenses indoors on a fast track. I think you're going to need to score 49 points to win this game.
Yes.
Pointsy, exciting, up and down, transition basketball here. Excited to see Alvarado and Frisco Panther Creek. It's my second biggest game of the week. Number 1, Galena Park, North Shore, and Fort Bend Ridge Point.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
And we are now starting in 6A Division I Region 3. We are starting the bloodbath. Okay? Because these two teams are really good. And I think there's a notion that North Shore is untouchable in region play. I think Ridge Point matches up really well with North Shore. the offensive playmakers they've got, I think Ridgepoint can do it. I'm not picking it. I want to be clear. I'm not picking it. But I am telling you that if you are to put together the kind of team that can give North Shore trouble, it's a team with a true QB1, like Austin Carlisle, is a team with tons of weapons on the outside, like Dane Jones, like Robert Haynes, is a team that plays big-time defense. It's a team that's given up fewer than 20 points per game. It is a team that forces big plays. This is a team that has 136 tackles for loss and 42 and a half sacks to go along with 9 interceptions on the year. I am fascinated by this, and the bloodbath begins in Region 3. North Shore and Ridgepoint, a huge, huge game. And the winner might get Katie. So,
fun.
Like I said, we're getting to the good part there in Region 3. There it is. My top 10 Texas high school football games of the week. Your mileage may vary. Let me know which games I missed in the comments. I will read all of them and treasure them deeply. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com. Talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment. Well, first of all, I want to tell you to go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.
Do it.
You can watch, if you want to watch North Shore Ridgepoint.
Yeah.
If you want to watch College Station Lufkin.
Yeah.
If you want to watch like dozens of other live Texas high school ball games this weekend, TexanLive.com. You can stream dozens of live Texas high school ball games across the state of Texas tonight. Plus,
and if you don't, you're lame. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh, okay.
We're saying fighting words today.
And if you don't,
you're lame.
Okay. You also get 2 magazines mailed to you before they hit the newsstands, including the Rising magazine, which we're sending to press today or tomorrow. So, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. Stuff it inside your turkey and hand it to your mom.
Yes.
Be like, hey, Mom, I got you a turkey and also a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Coming up here in just a moment, the head coach of the 11-0 Alvarado Indians, Coach Casey Walraven, will join us ahead of their big game tonight against Frisco Panther Creek. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10, touchdown!
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wing's drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the 11-0 state-ranked Alvarado Indians, Coach Casey Walraven. Coach, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you all for having us.
We appreciate you taking a little bit of time. You are, I don't want to put a time on it, but you guys are about 6.5 hours away from kickoff of your area-round matchup with Frisco Panther Creek. What is the head coach of an undefeated team heading into a big matchup with Panther Creek feeling 6.5 hours out?
I try to avoid pepper rallies. I don't tell everybody that, but I am now. I guess I can't get hyped up. That's too soon. So I've got to kind of lay low for a little bit. I try to review things mentally and get my mind to where I can function for these guys tonight. So
well, you guys are 11-0 for the first time in 15 years. This has been a remarkable run here for Alvarado. If I'd come to you before the season and said, "Hey, coach, you're going to be 11-0 heading into the second round of the playoffs," would that have surprised you?
No, not us. We've been talking about it for a while now. This is a great senior and junior group that it's their third year here. They bought into everything we've asked them to do. We've saw some success here and there, some big wins the last 2 years, and we felt like, we've been saying it for a while that we're one of 10 teams that we believe that we can go win the thing. So we're going to play another one tonight that's one of those 10 teams. So we're not surprised. We're blessed and thankful to be in this position, but we've been preparing for it.
Was there a moment earlier this year where you guys, maybe there's a play, maybe there's a game, something where you guys came out of it and you said, okay, maybe we've got something special cooking here? Was there an inflection point for you guys earlier this year?
I think just, through the year to see us get better defensively, but, offensively, I knew we could be pretty dynamic. We've always been pretty dynamic offensively, but once I started seeing Cartier and some of these guys around him in our O-line function and getting rhythm, this is a pretty special group offensively. So I knew that we could score with the best of them, and we were younger on defense, and as they've gained experience through the year, we've gotten better there. So once I seen the progression and see how these guys respond to different things in the games. At Glen Rose, they tied us at one point. Conley did the same thing, and we were able to pull away there at the end. I knew we had the team that we felt like we did.
Casey Walraven, head coach of the Alvarado Indians, join us here. Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. All right, Coach, you mentioned it. You guys are the second highest scoring offense in Texas high school football right now, only behind Refugio, who you won't have to play. But this that'd be fun. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's guys I want to talk about, but before we get to the guys that everyone talks about, I want to talk about the people nobody talks about. Yep. I watch your tape. Your offensive line's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And the job they do. Can you tell us a little bit about these guys? And I know they go unnoticed, but I want to give them an opportunity to get some love.
Absolutely. They're a fantastic close group. You've got to have a close group of guys with an identity up front, and that's what we have. We got some size, we've got some athleticism, and we have some guys that just with a passion to want to be successful. Very unselfish group. Led by our center, Oscar Pulaski, and they do a fantastic job week in, week out, because we put a lot on them. We expect a lot of them, and a lot of times, like you said, they don't get their names in the headlines, but they're the engine for this offense, and without them, we couldn't be what we are.
Of course, the guy at the controls of the offense is Cartier Collier. 64 touchdowns on the year is just an insane thing to say. Look, like the high, it's a highlight reel worthy season already. As the guy who sees him every day in practice, what is it about Cartier Collier that really makes him special?
I think there's a lot of things. First off, he's a great human being. I tell everyone that first and foremost, but he's a student of the game. When we got here 3 years ago, he was looking at probably having to play corner. And then I saw him, and we knew our offense, how it functions. And once we got him in that position, in that role, and I saw his mental demeanor, I knew right away that we had something special with him. Of course, he's knocked it out of the park and progressed every single season. And he's such a coachable kid, very intelligent, but everyone sees the athleticism, but he can throw just as well as he can run the ball. And that goes back to his work ethic and just his mental state of how his mental toughness is at that position.
You mentioned, Coach, on the defensive side that it's been more of a work in progress there on the defensive side, but you guys are playing your best defensive ball right now. What have you seen as far as growth is concerned? What have you seen on the defensive side that has you guys playing so well right now?
We've gained some confidence, and that's another group that needs an identity, and they found their own identity. A lot of times coaches try to name their defense, and I feel like it has to come naturally from the players, and they found that identity. They call themselves the Gauntlet after Thanos' glove. So we have a turnover glove now, And anytime a defense
Let's
starts
go.
finding that identity, so they get excited and get confident, and from that they produce.
It's Casey Walraven, head coach at Alvarado, joining us here at Texas Football Today. Coach, it is tonight, 7 o'clock tonight, at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. You guys will draw Frisco Panther Creek, a 10-1 ball club. That's I have this here. They are, I believe, a top 15 team in scoring offense or something like that. They can move the ball. I'm not going to ask you to give away your plans for tonight, but when you take a look at what you're going to be up against tonight, what do you see?
I see a very dynamic offense, led by Webb. Their dynamic athlete. He's got accolades and offers, and he deserves every one of them. Got another kid on the outside, number 11, that was their leading receiver last year. So dynamic in everything they do. They throw the ball well, run the ball well, play intelligent and hard up front. So it's going to pose a very big challenge for us. We're going to have to play aggressively defensively to go with our offense. So defensively, they got a great safety, Webb, that's back there, or Lott, excuse me, and he's another one that deserves everything, all the attention he's getting. But they're well coached. There's a reason why they're successful the way they are and have been recently, and I look for a fantastic environment over at the Star and a great game.
And finally, Coach, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. So a week from now is Thanksgiving. Alvarado has not played in the third round of the playoffs since they went to the title game back in 2011. My question for you is how do you manage Thanksgiving plans in a situation like this where you hope you're real busy next week? You know, what's the situation looking like right now?
It's just the expectations. We talked about it when we had our parent meeting at the beginning of the year. Don't make plans on Thanksgiving, and Grandma may have to come to y'all this year, maybe, and Christmas too. So you get to do this one time for these kids, and we want to give them the best experience possible. And practicing on Thanksgiving is one of the funnest things I've ever been a part of in my career, and we would be grateful and fortunate to be able to do that, and we expect to do it.
He's Casey Walraven. He's the head coach of the Alvarado Indians. Big game tonight against Frisco Panther Creek. Coach, we so appreciate your time. Congratulations again on our success so far, and go get him tonight.
Thank y'all. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. There he goes. Casey Walraven, head coach of the Alvarado Indians. Join us here at Texas Football Today. With pickle in the house, pickle-ish. Mal.
Carter. Wow. Potentially VNA.
Wow. What
Goof.
A big crew. It's a huge game. And two high-flying offenses. I'm just telling you, I'm so excited you get to see the Cartier Collier show. He's
that was
special.
The most. There's a lot of reasons to be excited for this game. That was one of them that, he's coming to town. Yeah. You have to go.
Let me just give you some numbers, because I like numbers don't tell anything or don't tell everything. But I
his
feel
touchdowns
like
alone are insane.
He is currently at 4,194 total yards, passing and rushing, and 64 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Insane.
Freaky and unbelievable. We didn't even get to talk about their junior running back, DeMarcus Belton, who's a 1,600-yard back. I mean, this team is scoring more than 60 points per game. They're like I said, it's only Refugio scoring more than them. Only Refugio. That's it. And they've got a big test tonight against Frisco Panther Creek, a good Panther Creek squad that's playing at home, by the way. So, interested to see how that all shakes out. We're fascinated by that ball game. We appreciate Casey Walraven hopping on with us. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, Pickle.
Yes.
I know we've been talking about it. Can we just talk a little bit about the stupid good week in Lubbock? We're our Visit Lubbock Spotlight Game of the Month. It's such a good week. We've got two of them. We start tonight at Patriot Stadium in Lubbock, Stanford and Panhandle. Stanford, the number 1 team in 2A Division 1, gets a huge test. This is Christian Duran for Stanford, who's been so good. You add in Casson Vega, their star, going up against Broxton Robinson and Panhandle. This is spectacular football there, 2A Division 1, Region 1. But it's not the only big game in Lubbock. The other Visit Lubbock Spotlight game of the month, Sunray and Hawley, tomorrow night, a Twilight special, Sunray and Hawley, 2A Division 1, Region 1. Armando Luan versus Keegan Abels. Big-time playmakers on both sides. Sunray's defense has been so good. Hawley, of course, no stranger to playing in big games. An absolutely box office game tomorrow night there at Lubbock's Patriot Stadium. Of course, go to TexasFootball.com to learn more about our Visit Lubbock Spotlight Game of the Month. 2 of them this week. Hawley and Stanford. Stratford and Panhandle. Or Stanford and Panhandle, rather. Stratford's playing there, too. Just go to Lubbock. Like, what are you doing? Get in your car and drive to Lubbock, like, right now. It is going to be an unbelievable week in the city of Lubbock. And we appreciate our friends at Visit Lubbock for putting together the Visit Lubbock Spotlight Game of the Month. All right, Pickle, those games are pretty good. Mm-hmm. 176 pretty good games across the state of Texas in the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. I decided to pick all of them.
Shout out VNA Moreno.
I did get at least 2 right last week. And I will downgrade that to at least 1 right this week. Here it is, the picks, my high school football predictions for the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Texas Football Today.
It's time for the second round of the 2024 Texas High School Football Playoffs, and if history is any guide, we are in for a wild ride. These are the picks. Welcome into the picks, your guide to the Texas High School Football Playoffs. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did you catch your breath from a wild first round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs? More than a 25% upset rate across the state of Texas. Massive shockers in every bracket, which really helped reshape what the path to AT&T Stadium is going to look like for all of these teams. Furthermore, I think you had a couple of teams that survived a game where maybe they didn't play their best. Maybe they came out flat in the first half, but they overmatched their opponent and were able to run away with a victory in the end. I think those days are over. I think now that you enter the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs, you now have to be on your game from the word go, or you're going home. The margin for error now is 0. And every one of these teams need to be on their game from the word go. We are once again picking every single game in the UIL Texas High School Football Playoffs. I'll mention it out loud, or it's scrolling on this side of the screen. Huge games everywhere you look. We start out east. 7 o'clock Friday night at Wildcat Stadium in Palestine. It's a 2A Division II area round matchup between the Wortham Bulldogs and the Mount Enterprise Wildcats. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, black in blue. You see Wortham wears blue and their quarterback is John Ross Black, hence black and blue. Do you get it? Anyway, this kid rocks, okay? John Ross Black, if you have not familiarized yourself with this guy, he's one of the real hidden gems in Texas high school football. 28 touchdowns passing, another 15 on the ground, a dual threat dynamo. He is the straw that stirs the drink for this Bulldogs attack. Now they've got playmakers on the outside, guys like Kimani Johnson out wide, but make no mistake, this guy is the one who is going to set tone for the Bulldogs moving forward. I especially look at his usage rate. He has a 55% usage rate, which means that he is either throwing the ball or running the ball on 55% of Wortham snaps. That is a huge number. The question is, can John Ross Black step up in this area round matchup? Key number 2, Mount Enterprise's ground assault. By my count, Mount Enterprise has thrown the ball 7 times this year. 7 times all year. Yeah, they are a grinding running team, to say the least, and why wouldn't you be when you've got the kind of playmakers they have in the backfield? Kagan Ash, their super junior running back, is one of the most established and decorated running backs in all of Texas high school football the past couple of years. Add in a guy like Aiden Alsop, who has been terrific in spelling him, especially when Ash has been a little bit nicked up. Those two combined are up near 3,000 total yards on the ground and 39 touchdowns on the ground. They have been absolutely electrifying. There's no doubt what Mount Enterprise is going to do when they have the ball. They're going to turn and hand the ball off to Ash and Alsop. So, can Mount Enterprise get that ground game rolling? And key number 3, defense? So that feels like I'm talking down on defense. I don't mean that, but the offenses are definitely the units that take center stage for both of these teams. These defenses have been okay, but not necessarily world beaters, right? Mount Enterprise gives up about 28 points per game. That's middle of the pack in 2A Division 2. Guys like Russell Wilburn make big plays when they need them the most. On the other side for Wortham, their defense has been a little bit better, about 40th in 2A Division 2 statistically, with guys like Lance Jones leading the way. The question is going to be, with high-powered offenses on either side, which defense can come up with the 1 or 2 plays to turn what could be a really exciting ball game? Who am I picking? I'm going with Wortham. The Bulldogs get the nod here on the strength of, I think, a superior defense, a little bit more of a battle-tested path, and more ways to beat you. I think with John Ross Black back there, they can throw the ball or they can run the ball, whereas for Mount Enterprise, it's very clearly run or bust. If they do not establish the run and the running game is not getting going, they don't really have a great plan B, at least one that they've established throughout the course of the year. Now, Mount Enterprise is actually the kind of team that is built to beat a team like Wortham, and you can see why they're here, right? They are able to go on long, sustained drives, keep the ball away from their opponent, and shorten the game. I think they need to do that, and actually a lower scoring game and a lower number of possession game benefits the Wildcats in this one. But I think that John Ross Black is the difference. I think the playmakers they've got on the outside are the difference, and I think the defense come up with 1 or 2 big plays. I think Wortham moves on to the regional semifinals. Let's go to San Antonio, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon at the Alamo Dome. It's a 6A Division I area round matchup between the Buda Johnson Jaguars and the Los Fresnos Falcons. Congratulations to Johnson on their first ever playoff win last week in program history. That's a huge accomplishment for that young program. And they have a big, explosive rushing attack led by Cale Hatnot that has been really fun to watch. It seems like it's getting stronger as the season goes on. The defense leaves a little something to be desired, and that's why I'm really interested in this ball game, because this is a team from Los Fresnos, from down in the Rio Grande Valley, that can light it up. Quarterback Robert Pineda has been terrific for them, a dual threat dynamo in every sense of the word. He can do a little bit of everything. These are 2 high-powered offenses going at it on a fast track in San Antonio. This could be really pointsy. For Johnson, I think they have traveled a little bit more of a difficult path, and that could be the difference. But make no mistake, this is a coin flip type game. I like Buda Johnson, but this has an opportunity to be one of the most exciting games of the weekend. 6 o'clock Friday evening at Memorial Stadium in Wichita Falls. It's a 5A Division I area round match between the Amarillo Tascosa Rebels and the Saginaw Rough Riders. Hey, did you know Saginaw's 11-0? Saginaw is 11-0. By far the best season in program history. Coach Mike Peters has done unbelievable work there. This is a program that the last 4 years combined had won 3 games. And now they're, can't stress this enough, 11-0. Quarterback Roman Morales has been terrific. They got a playmaking defense led by Najee Nicholson. Now that defense will need to be on its game, because here comes Tascosa with that flex bone attack, and quarterback Colton Fulton is cooking right now for them. They've got their own playmaking defense that can snuff out this Saginaw team in a hurry. This game is really interesting. I want to see how Saginaw can handle the flex bone on short notice, right? You got to learn how to decipher this offense in 1 week. I think they're up for the challenge, though. I think Saginaw improbably plays on Thanksgiving. And 7 o'clock Friday night at Tiger Stadium in Smithville, it's a 4A Division II area round matchup between the West Columbia Roughnecks and the Gatesville Hornets. Both teams are here arguably because they sprung upsets in the first round. Gatesville knocked off Madisonville in a thriller, while it was West Columbia beating Jasper in the first round of the playoffs. And they get it done in different ways. Real interesting stylistic clash here offensively. You're going to see the wing tee from West Columbia led by Mudasir Abdullah, their star running back. He's the tip of the spear of the running game, while much more of a balanced pro-style attack for Gatesville led by quarterback Garrett Keaton and their running back Rayshawn Smith. I lean towards Gatesville a little bit in this one. I think that coming from their district where they had to play teams like Waco, La Vega, and Robinson has prepared them for this moment. I think this game is fascinating though because this wing T, when it gets rolling from West Columbia, can be really, really dangerous. In the end, I like the Hornets in a very close one. I think they moved to the third round of the playoffs for the first time since 2015. But those are far from the only big games in the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. Remember, I'm picking all 176 games. I'm either mentioning it out loud or it's scrolling on this side of the screen. Let's get to the lightning round. In 6A Division 1, I like Galena Park North Shore over Fort Bend Ridge Point, but keep an eye on that one. I like Waxahachie to take down North Forney, and give me Euless Trinity over Midland Legacy. 6A Division 2 now, give me Houston Strake Jesuit over Houston Heights, and I'm going with Longview over Lancaster. West Texas meets DFW, I think Midland takes down Crowley, and give me Dripping Springs over San Antonio Harlan. To 5A Division 1 we go, I like College Station over Lufkin, give me San Antonio Piper over Corpus Christi Flower Bluff, and in what could be a wild shootout, I like Georgetown over Frisco Reedy. 5A Division 2 we go. I like Fort Bend Marshall to beat Bastrop, and a huge test for South Oak Cliff, but I think they get past Huntsville. Lovejoy Sauls El Paso Del Valle, and Corpus Christi Miller gets a win over Sherilyn Pioneer. To 4A Division 1 we go. I like Austin LBJ over Lavernia and expect high-flying action in this one. I like Alvarado over Frisco Panther Creek. I'm going with Canyon West Plains over Brownwood, and give me Lindale to stay hot with a win over Navasota. To 4A Division 2 we go. I like Lago Vista over Port Isabel. Glen Rose survives a scare against Seminole, and give me Gilmer over Sunnyvale. Let's go to 3A Division 1. I like Jefferson over Grandview, and Bushland gets by Paradise. I'm going with Rio Hondo over Universal City Randolph, and prepare for fireworks in this one. I like Columbus over Palestine Westwood. To 3A Division 2, I like DeKalb over Troop, and in what may be the two best teams in Region 4, I like East Bernard over Poth. I'm going with Littlefield over Crane, and give me Gunner over Wichita Falls City View, but keep an eye on that one. Over to 2A Division 1, I like Wascom to get by Garrison, and give me Tioga to beat Kearns. Mason keeps rolling with a win over Weimer, and it's Judgment Day in Region 1. I like Sunray over Hawley. In 2A Division 2, I like Junction over Falls City. Wink squeaks by Stratford, and a game we've been looking forward to since the brackets came out. I like Collinsville over Wellington. And big doings in six-man football. In 1A Division 1, I like Happy over Borden County, and Union Hill over Aquila. And in 1A Division 2, I like Iredell in a very close one over Strawn, and give me Benjamin to beat Lorraine. And those are the picks. I picked all 176 UIL Texas High School football games this weekend. I either mentioned it out loud or was scrolling on this side of the screen. So now you can let me know, what am I wrong about? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/DaveCampbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/DaveCampbells. And of course, see us at TexasFootball.com, where you can find complete coverage of the 2024 Texas High School Football Playoffs at TexasFootball.com/playoffs. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. We will see you.
God, shut up.
Man, I've been saying that for 5 years now.
Does that guy's face bother you?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just lucky I never have to see it.
Yeah.
The picks, my high school football predictions for the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. We are pleased to be joined, as we are every Thursday,
Thursdays,
by our friend, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, the host of the Craig Way Show on AM 1300 The Zone, a man of many different specialties. We're joined by Craig Way. Mr. Way, how are you?
I'm good. Specialties for one man is grind for another, you know? So, yes.
That's true.
Right there in that category. Yeah.
I do want to talk. We're going to talk a lot about high school football. First of all, how was your trip to Fayetteville?
Just the way you like to do Fayetteville, about 27 hours. Get in there, get your business done, get out of there. And that was the case. And they did all of that. It was a pretty fast-moving game, and we were able to get out of there, get to the airport in time to fly to Chicago to call the women's basketball game Sunday. So, yeah, all good. It was good. And most important for the Longhorns, obviously, getting a win and staying in that tie with Texas A&M for the top spot in the SEC standings and holding on to that number 3 spot in the college football playoff rankings.
Well, you mentioned obviously we're now approaching critical mass with this matchup with Texas A&M coming on Saturday, November 30th. They've now announced it's going to be a 6:30 kick. I don't think there was any doubt it was going to be a night game there at Kyle Field. There's obviously still work to do between now and then. But assuming that Auburn or that A&M takes care of Auburn and Texas takes care of Kentucky, where would this A&M Texas game rank as far as the biggest games in that rivalry's history?
Well, it would be at least as big as the last one they played.
True enough.
If only because it was the last one they played, until now, 13 years ago. So I do think that it would be really important because it is the restoration of the rivalry and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it's big, but it has larger stakes, clearly, because the winner, if Texas A&M defeats Auburn and Texas defeats Kentucky, then the winner of that game in College Station is guaranteed a spot in the SEC championship game. So yeah, it's pretty important, and not to mention all of the rivalry stuff that is surrounding it as well.
Yeah, it's just that small part is the small rivalry between them. It's Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, joining us here on Texas Football to get involved in the conversation. #TF today. All right, Craig, it's on to the high school ranks. And one of the things that I've been fielding a lot this week, and I know it happens every year, it's this germ that comes back every year this time of year, was people complaining about too many teams making the playoffs. They look at the blowouts. They look at a team like El Paso Bel-Air, an extreme outlier in a 4-team district that makes the playoffs as a winless team. And I'm not here to say that that's great, and I love that there's a winless team in the playoffs, but the facts are that it's a bigger issue. Where are you as far as this ongoing conversation of every year? Oh, too many teams make the playoffs. Where do you end up falling on in that category?
Well, I think it's gone a different route now because I think it's doing something different because of realignment. And when you've got 14 districts, what choice do you have?
Yeah.
And if somebody says, well, reduce the amount of playoffs, tell that to your principals and your superintendents, and the moms and dads of bands and drill teams and things like that. Tell them about that, because, otherwise it doesn't make, it's an opportunity for kids to play. There's some unavoidable consequences and circumstances. Certainly, you mentioned the 0-10s, and it happens. But again, as I've always said, those things kind of sort themselves out. Mm-hmm. So I never really worry about that. We've never seen a 2-8 team reach a state championship round. We've seen them get to a quarterfinal before, but it's very rare that it happens. And then it's the flip side of districts that have really good teams in it, 5 or maybe even 6, and 1 or 2 get left out. So, there's another side of that as well. So I've never felt, as they increased the playoffs, that there were too many. Cream rises to the top. We still see the best teams shine through.
He's Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, joining us here. All right, Craig, it is on to the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs, and this also begins a time in which we start seeing one particular kind of matchup that I know that you are very familiar with. And for some it is the dreaded, and for others it is the much appreciated. It's Austin versus San Antonio, and specifically when I look at the 6A ranks, 6A Division I in particular, with Westlake taking on San Antonio Brennan and Lake Travis taking on San Antonio Johnson. These are two pretty darn good San Antonio teams that are going to be taking a swing at the Austin area, and the Austin area has just had their number. What is the conversation around Austin like? Because I think we hear a lot from San Antonio folks about how it's a real bummer and they feel like they're never going to get past this Austin wall. I'm curious to know what the other side of that conversation is like with Westlake taking on a good Brennan team and Lake Travis taking on a good Johnson team.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Tim. It's don't know that saying it's a just a foregone conclusion in the minds of many. But there are those who do think that, and until it's proven otherwise, then prove it to me, with regard to the big two anyway, with regard to Westlake and Lake Travis and seeing how that goes. I think it's as much that as anything about, well, we know what we have to do. And to be honest, I do think that fans and followers of those two programs feel that is one of the more difficult games that they're going to wind up having to deal with, because then they look at the next week, which is Valley Week, as historically it's gone. So I think it's as much that as anything. It's kind of like, look, you're going to have to prove it to us, but we know it's a tougher week than the other. That's kind of the attitude, the vibe that I have gotten from folks, at least fans of those two programs anyway.
And now, Craig, it's time for the meanest thing we do to each other each week. I'm going to give you 3 games. You can only teleport to one of them to enjoy this one. Will you go to the Houston area for Galena Park North Shore and Fort Bend Ridgepoint? Will you join Ashley Pickle and a number of the Dave Campbell's Texas football crew at the Star in Frisco for Alvarado and Frisco Panther Creek? Or will you go to Lubbock tomorrow night for a nightcap in 2A Division I between Sunray and Hawley? Which of those 3 games are you teleporting to?
I think I'm doing what you're doing. I think I'm rolling on to see Sunray and Hawley. Now, it's not that I don't think Ridgepoint can give North Shore a game. I think they can. But again, to use your phrase, I think everybody's keeping their powder dry to see a North Shore Katy matchup, or maybe a rematch with a Tascasita, that thing down the line. So probably I would say the two, just because now we're starting to get into the territory where Armando Lujan and Sunray are entering uncharted waters. How do they respond? We know how Hawley responds and has responded in the past. How do the new kids on the block respond? And I'd be interested to see that.
He's Craig Way. He's a Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. You can hear him on the Craig Way Show on AM 1300 The Zone. In Austin, you can, of course, hear him call Texas and Kentucky 2:30 on Saturday. I'm sure he's doing a bunch of basketball, too. He's got some water polo to call.
He's in Brooklyn right now.
He's in Brooklyn right now. I mean, he's just
Texas-Syracuse tonight at 6.
Doing that. He's just doing everything. Craig, we appreciate your time, my friend, and happy Thanksgiving if we don't talk to you before then. And enjoy your many travels.
It is drippy, wet, and nasty here in New York, and that it isn't even describe the weather. But I'm looking forward to being home for some real football this weekend.
Bye, Craig. There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer. Join us here, Texas football today, per usual, and the hardest working man in television.
Dude's got away with words.
He does, absolutely. Excited to see he's got a busy week, so he's not on because he's in Brooklyn, and then I think he's not on Scoreboard tomorrow night. I don't believe. I should know this, but I don't. And then of course he'll call Texas and Kentucky on Saturday, and then I'm sure he's going to fly off to Barbados to call a Texas basketball game. Anyway, we appreciate Craig making some time for us. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts. See if anybody's got any questions.
Thoughts on Randall versus Andrews tonight?
Yeah,
that's another one happening out west.
Yeah, it's a big Thursday night in out there. I like Randall. I think that but I'll tell you this: Andrews is a perfect example of a team that I think is better than their record indicates. If you look at Andrews, I want to say they're 5-6 or something like that. The record's ugly. But you take a look at it, they lost 6 straight in the middle of the year, okay? They were 1-6 at one point going into district play. But then they sweep district play. They're a lot better in their district. They beat Burnett last week. I don't know if you knew that, Pickle.
Yes, I did.
They beat Burnett last week. And then now they're rolling. They are playing their best football right now. I think Canyon Randall is your favorite specifically just because I think their offense is going to be a little bit too much. But I am very interested to see how this Andrews kind of momentum kind of keeps rolling because they've been playing exceptional football of late after a very, very, very slow start. They are a better team than their record indicates. They're in a 4-team district. They had to load up on non-district games and had to play tough teams as a result. I'm fascinated to see how that one shakes out. What's next?
Let's go with, who do you think will advance out of the top half of the 5A Division II Region 1 bracket?
Okay, so the bottom half's Argyle.
They said likely to face Argyle in the regional finals.
So I think what you're most likely to see, I think you're most likely to see Lovejoy versus Anna Volume 2. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first time? It was Lovejoy 66, Anna 62.
Pointsy.
I would love that. I want that.
I think that's the most likely.
I think that's the most likely.
All due respect to Abilene Wiley and Del Valle.
I think so. Although I'm interested, I want to see what Jake Fett can do against Lovejoy. Mm-hmm. That is one thing. I think real recognize real. I would love to pick. I might call Todd Dodge on like Saturday and just ask him what he thinks of Jake Fett at Del Valle because he's a guy who knows quarterbacks, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would imagine he'll have some nice things to say about the quarterback at Del Valle.
I'll tell you what is an interesting, I don't think either of these teams are going to make it to the state championship, but that Walnut Grove versus Lubbock Cooper game this week, I like that.
I think that's pointsy too.
I like that matchup.
Lubbock Cooper, Michael Deaver getting going, and then Hayes Hackney, the freshman quarterback for Walnut Grove. That whole region's really fun. Argyle, Argyle Wichita Falls Memorial.
It's interesting, yeah.
It's a good Memorial team just because they're in their first varsity season because they're kind of a consolidated high school. Keep it. That whole region's really fun. We knew it was going to be, but man, it's living up to the hype. All right, we got one more?
Now, having done this podcast for a number of years, do you still ever get nervous doing TV?
What do you think? Do you?
Not really, no.
I think the way I would phrase it
I don't think I get nervous. I think I get excited.
I get excited. Yeah, that's a great point.
I think I have those kind of oh, we're about to do this, pre-game jitters, but it's not out of nervousness. It's out of let's go. I'm pumped up to be here.
That's a really good point. I think nervous, I don't get nervous in the same way that I think a lot of people would think of getting nervous in the sense of oh no, there's a camera on me. I hope I don't screw up. I'm not worried about that. You've watched this show. I screw up enough. I will tell you, I think I get nervous in particular roles. So, for example, and this is a shameless plug, tomorrow night on formerly Bally Sports Southwest, now FanDuel Sports Network, I'm going to be on play-by-play for Brenham versus Liberty Hill. Very excited about that. I've done some play-by-play, but this is the first time on the network that I'll be doing. I'll be alongside the Super Bowl champion, Gary Reasons. Really excited about that ballgame. I'm a little nervous about that, but I also know 3 minutes into the game, I'm going to settle and be fine. And for example, I know next week, I guess we can probably promote this. There's going to be a Bally or a game on FanDuel Sports Network Saturday, and I'll be doing play-by-play. I forget the color commentator.
2 opposable thumbs and a microphone. This girl.
That's right.
Doing color commentary.
It's a TFT takeover of the network. Yeah. We finally did it.
We weaseled our way in.
We did it. But we'll be calling the game. And I don't know about you, you've done color before, but in a new role, I think there's a couple of minutes of the beginning where I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah. That one might be not nervous, but excited. I'll be the first woman to ever hop in the booth for the network. So it's not nervousness there, but there is pressure that I'm putting on myself probably to do it right because I am honored to be the first woman to do it. I do not want to be the last one.
Yeah.
So that's bearing a lot of weight on that one to make sure that I'm doing it right, not for myself, but for opening doors and paving paths. So there are times like that, and I've had quite a few of those in my career, thankfully, of being the first, and there's some pressure there.
For sure. And we should certainly talk about whether or not you should feel the need to feel that pressure.
Right.
That's a larger conversation about it. But that's a perfect example of nervous is the wrong word. It's just you want to do right by the game. You want to perform well.
And the funny thing too is people always ask me too, do you get nervous when you're on TV? I have a little bit different of a situation too in the fact that I have emceed a lot throughout my career, which is 100,000 people at some points in AT&T Stadium looking at me on a screen going, and it's live. I mean, it's live, and you're right in the middle with the lights on you and stuff. That to me is different than talking in front of a camera. It's like, man, I'm just talking to a camera. This is an inanimate object. Like, we're good.
That's so true. I think you have to, like, I'm looking at a camera. Hi, I'm looking at a camera right now, and I know that there's like thousands of people watching. Mm-hmm. I don't like think about that. I'm just talking to a camera, and really what I'm doing, I'm talking to Pickle.
Yeah,
I'm looking past the camera. I'm looking at the controller. Yep. But yeah, I would say nervous is the wrong word.
And the other thing too, if you ever, and this goes for any, like if we can give you any advice on any sort of public speaking or having to talk in front of people, your nerves go away if you are well prepared.
Oh, yeah.
The way that people get nervous on TV, and you can see it, at least I can, and I think it's because I've done it, especially when it comes to like reporters on the sideline or someone sitting in a studio. If people look nervous on camera, it's because they are not prepared for what they're about to talk about. If you are prepared, the nerves take care of themselves, because I'm just talking about stuff that I know at this point.
That's such a great point.
Preparation is everything in this business. Everything.
Such a great point, because I think that, to your point, you can tell if somebody is like perfectly scripted and they have to go exactly according to script. Mm-hmm. But like, you have to be prepared in a moment to be like, if we go off script, I can just take us where we need to go. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's when you get in trouble, and that's when you get nervous. If I were to go into this game tomorrow with Brenham and Liberty Hill and not have done these coaches calls and not have built my boards and not know who these teams are and not know what to expect generally, then I'd be really nervous.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, and I'm not the only person at this company, but you can see it because you were here longer. Think about when I first started doing TFT to now, and it wasn't because I didn't know the technology side of stuff. It's because I didn't have a grasp on the whole state of football in Texas. Now we're just yapping, you know?
We Boy, you have never been more right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. Of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks to Casey Walraven of Alvarado and to Craig Way for being our guests. So, Monday. We'll have the Thanksgiving Spectacular. It will be on tape because I'm going to be driving, but we're going to record it on Sunday. But come back here on Monday for the Texas Football Today Thanksgiving Spectacular, a tradition unlike any other. The 10th annual Texas Football Today Thanksgiving Spectacular. Vince Young, please win your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you Monday on Texas Football Today.